Hey, everybody.
Hello.
How are y'all?
Hello.
Good. How are you, Chad?
Good, Mike. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. This is my third meeting this morning like this.
Oh, your third Zoom? Have you been doing a lot of Zoom?
Well, we do team meetings. Microsoft Teams has one, but I did do a Zoom meeting, and then the other one was just a listen-in deal. But but we do Teams and WebEx meetings mainly,
Okay.
and learning how to share screens and do all that kind of thing too. So
Very good. Well, this one will be quick. This is just more to get everybody together and kind of talk about what we're planning for July and on. So that's mainly just to get everybody together and have a chance to see whoever can join. So.
This is Paul. I'm on.
Hey, Paul.
Howdy, howdy.
Jan, thanks for joining us today. Here, I'm going to unmute you, Jan. Well, I'll say that.
There.
There you go.
Now I can talk.
You've got a nice background there. You're enjoying the weather today, aren't you?
That's right. On my screened-in porch
Yeah.
with
We'll
my
give it
those wind chimes. You may get some wind chime noise if the wind picks
yeah.
up again.
It is windy today. It's nice air though.
Mm-hmm.
So since Mayor Norris has his video off, I can tell you all a little secret. He's usually stuffing his face full of food whenever he turns the video off.
Yeah, you're terrible.
It's going to be a couple more months before we have a regular meeting.
Well, we'll talk about that. I see Gerald just popped in. Sounds like he's unmuted. Good to have you, Gerald. You know what, Paul? One of the things we have to do is wait for the state to reopen restaurants. I guess. Well, actually, the governor is going to talk about that today. He's going to talk about phase 2 and when that may actually happen. But as it stands currently, if you are a group larger than 10, I don't believe you can get together in a restaurant. So that I think that's what one of our limiting factors is we would have a group larger than 10. So we'll have to see what he says as far as rolling out and going into phase 2 for restaurants. And then we'd have to also work with US Pizza, see what they want to do. I'm not sure. I guess, have they opened their dining room? I've not been to US Pizza since they've.
They have.
It's open.
Okay.
They've asked me a couple of times if we were going to come back, and I told them it was going to depend on what the governor puts out there.
Okay. Well, as soon as the governor gives the green light, I'm fine with us following all the protocols and getting back to having face-to-face meetings. It's going to look different for a while. I guess you have to wear masks inside. I'm not sure how. I've not been to a restaurant yet. I've purposefully avoided them. So I'm not scared to go, and I just don't want to have to do all the rigmarole to attend to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, and the social distancing at US Pizza, they'd have to set it up, and then you have to wear a mask until you get to the table and you get a drink. And then you can take it off for the duration. Unless you have to go to the restroom, then you have to put the mask back on. So.
Has David's Burgers opened back up in Maumelle for inside dining?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I heard a quote from I guess the owner. He said they didn't know when they were going to even attempt to do inside dining again. I know they were keeping their drive-throughs going, but I don't know when David's Burgers is going to reopen their dining.
All right.
Kat, I heard you say I was out making some coffee in the break room / Jack's office / room that hosts people that don't exist area, and I heard you say something about my video being off, which means it's evidence that I was stuffing my face.
Yeah, we're eating lunch.
Yeah. So I turned it off a couple times in the city council meeting.
I noticed,
periodically
and one time you started. One time you started it back up just a fraction of a second too soon, and I forget if it was a drink or a sandwich, but something was going down.
Yeah, there was no sandwich. I don't eat sandwiches during council meetings. So a behind the scenes secret is I picked up the water and intentionally put it down in case someone was curious as to why the camera was off, because I was actually blowing my nose and picking my teeth. But it seemed more palatable to say, oh, he turned it off because he was drinking water. I don't know. Whoa.
So, Caleb, I guess it was yesterday, I was scrolling through Facebook during the time when the North Little Rock City Council was doing their, Conway was doing their city council meeting, and they were doing the Pledge of Allegiance like we used to do. And because I've never gone back and watched our videos to see what it sounded like, but it was a complete train wreck with the voices all over the place. You know, everybody kind of doing their own pledge. So,
yeah, I still kind of prefer that, but apparently everyone else prefers to just hear one person.
Yeah,
I typed out the Pledge of Allegiance last time and had it ready because it's not like I say it all the time. I've memorized it, but the idea of messing it up on video recorded thing going out is just, it frightens me.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, John. Hey, Tina.
Good morning.
And hey, Julia. We got a lot of y'all popping in.
Hey, Mike Watson.
Hey, how are you, Tina? Hey, Chad. Yeah, early this morning we had the Little Rock Air Force Base Community Council Board meeting. So we did the Pledge of Allegiance with about 20 people online, and it was terrible. So, yeah, there was just, there was no synchronizing with it at all. I was hearing other people 2 or 3 words behind me. So
yeah. So our church, in every May, we have what we call Music in May, where we spend on the Wednesday nights teaching new songs, and our church really enjoys it. And so our song leader said, Chad, what if we got everybody on a Zoom call? Could we all sing together? And I was like, no, that's not going to work. If the Pledge of Allegiance doesn't work, singing is not going to work.
Well, that'd really be different.
It would. It would. Well, Gerald, we've got looks like 10 folks on here. I was just going to give an update on officers going forward. Do you have anything that you want to start off with talking about?
That's that's somebody in the background or somebody wanting to say something?
Sorry, that's Liam. Hold on.
Oh, okay. That's really all I had on the agenda today, was to kind of talk about, where we're at as far as selecting officers, because that comes up July 1. So that's basically the big thing that's on the agenda. And then I see where Tina sent out some suggestions on the conference. And I'm guessing that just went to Caleb, Chad, and I guess.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at that now. Okay.
So we've got that's still on the table. I have not heard one way or another what the plans are. I mean, we've got a plan like it's going to happen, and then we'll see if it actually happens. So.
They are absolutely planning for it. I just had an hour Zoom with Cleon, so they're planning.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay,
good. Now, Tina, as far as that goes, they basically plan all of the events that happen no, they don't. Oh, okay. Because looking at your email, I see you're recommending some things to do. So they don't plan the activities or the speakers, though they do, right, for Saturday?
No, that he can give us some suggestions, but he feels that we are completely able to take care of the whole shebang. They will give us some money. We didn't get into that as far as paying for things that we need, but they're counting on us to do everything.
Oh,
Mayor Norris had somebody lined up, didn't you, Mayor?
Gerald Ezel?
Yeah.
I have someone lined up for what?
As a speaker, didn't we have like the international president or?
I didn't have anyone lined up. They had someone lined up. The guy died.
Cool.
And then
He did die.
I think, I had thought that Cleon was picking out the speakers and would have the agendas, and then it was now I haven't gone to the last couple pre-board meeting. I don't even know what it is because he's not the president yet, but we're meeting in anticipation for him being the president. I've missed a couple of those. But it was my understanding we provided the facilities and kind of the events, and then they provided the classes and all the substantive stuff. Is that
that's what I was
inaccurate?
thinking too. But Tina's.
That's what I thought, and I think that's what he wanted initially. But at this point, I mean, he offered a couple suggestions, and he will help. But as far as taking it by the reins, they're counting on us to do it. He basically laid out what they're expecting. It's who all went last year. I know I went to the second day, so it'll be
I went as well.
together.
The district conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was at World Services for the Blind.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
There'd be a repeat of that. Now, I think that he definitely, and he said that can help us with those speakers, but as far as they have an agenda, no. And we can all meet again together with them to iron things out, just to make sure.
I didn't go on Saturday. I only went on Friday with Caleb. And yeah, that was more of a reception and entertainment type of deal at the zoo. But I thought Saturday.
That was the state one, right? Was that the state or the district?
That was the district one.
That was the district. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It was the district.
Okay. So Saturday they didn't have Lions classes or events or anything scheduled. Whoever hosted it put stuff on.
They had their speakers. They had maybe 4 speakers that spoke on different topics.
Okay. All right.
So I didn't know. How do you guys feel about that? Just for the people who don't know, what I suggested, and it's just a suggestion, since Friday is our entertainment night, I was thinking that we could set up dinner at Lake Willistine by the water, and they could be serenaded by a barbershop quartet. I've actually reached out to one that will be able to perform. I haven't since COVID, but I can reach back out to them. And then, while they're singing, we could also set up like croquet and just little things, because it's just 3 hours. So basically most of the time is going to be them sitting down, eating, listening to music. But if they're early and want to, fellowship with each other, then we can have like some slight entertainment. I didn't go to the zoo, so I don't know what all happened. And that's just a suggestion. And then after that, because I'm thinking maybe 5 to 8, if they want, we can go to a caravan to a drive-in at the Oasis. It's been really successful, but it's just a suggestion.
Okay.
I'm always nervous about. I like the barbershop quartet. I'm always nervous about events outside because it's so contingent upon weather.
What about the referee that got up and talked at the chamber dinner?
Yeah,
Oh,
Walt Coleman.
Yeah.
I know Walt real well. I can call him.
I think he would be up.
Before you call anyone, to make sure you run it past the district and Cleon So don't give him a holler just yet, but he's a great speaker. Getting him to talk about Lionism might be a little bit interesting, but what about for the evening festivities? What about just doing the same thing but at Park on the River?
The only reason why I didn't suggest Park on the River, you mean inside?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even think about Park on the River. I was thinking just outside and, just that ambiance. I kind of envisioned like a sunset dinner with the water.
Oh, it'd be, if the weather was in the 70s and it was a clear sky, that'd be perfect.
But there is that if, so.
Yeah. Of course, it's what, late October? Is it October?
September 25th and 6th.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They had to, just because of we do have our keynote speaker. We do have that guy.
It got moved to September?
Yeah, September 25th and 6th. Mm-hmm.
I guess I got to stop auto-deleting Cleon's emails.
Yeah, I should pay more attention to them as well. Okay.
And then I told them that we would have to, we're adhering to the governor's rules as far as social distancing and that sort of thing. So we have to keep that in mind too. And that was one of the reasons why I was thinking outside, because we could, social distance better. That makes sense. But we are in September, so it might be changed.
And to Caleb's point, Friday night they had dinner, or I would call it more a reception. It really wasn't I think Caleb and I made it into a dinner, but it was a reception.
It was
but they had
heavy hors d'oeuvres.
They had it in the cafe and cafe, African cafe, whatever they call it. But there weren't a lot of people there. Like, Caleb, how many do you think? Maybe 40? Is that too high?
There might have been 40. Yeah.
Yeah. So Park on the River could work as an alternate if we needed, because that can seat 40-ish, couldn't it? And if it's a nice night, you've got the deck and everything. So we can look at that. Well, just look at our options for sure. So, okay.
I forgot about that wraparound outside. So that would work.
Okay. Well, we'll flesh that out in the next couple of weeks, month or so. All right. Gerald, what else? Was there something else we needed to talk about besides officers?
No, I think that's it right now. Okay.
Tina, anything else we want to talk about on the conference?
No, I think I spelled it out. And then if you guys want, I can send that information out to all the club, or I didn't know how we're going to do that. Are we just going to keep it in that one sort of committee group, or?
Well, I think I think as we get going, it's going to be important for the whole club to participate and support it. So while we may have a core group that's planning it, I'd love to get the whole club involved, because we got beautiful facilities. Wherever we host it, it's going to be a nice show for Maumelle for people to be able to come out here. So yeah, I'd say we get involved as a club once we kind of get the finer details nailed down.
Because I think it's important that we reach out to people and reserve whatever we're going to reserve and that sort of thing, because I think there's going to be an influx of requests once,
Oh, sure.
Getting back to whatever our new normal is.
And I'm reading through your email. Friday evening, doing the drive-in, the crowd that I saw at the last one, the average age was probably north of 65 or 70. So I'm not sure if they'd want to stay up late and watch a drive-in movie. I don't know. Yeah, I love the idea, but yeah, I don't know if they would stay awake for that.
I wouldn't. I'll be pretty tuckered after 8 o'clock. So.
Yeah, no, totally. Me too. So, okay. Well, we'll make a point to start revisiting this and get some of those details nailed out. So that works. And the only other thing that I've talked to, I think everybody that's here, Mike and Jan, I've not talked to y'all, but since y'all are on here, we're working on getting an officer team put together to bring forward to the club for nominations. Jan, Mike, is there anything that y'all want to do in terms of an off or board member role, or are y'all content doing what you're doing as an awesome Lion Club member? I just wanted to throw that opportunity out there to anybody. Go ahead.
I'm happy without being an officer and keep picking up the glasses.
Very good. Very good. And Jane, actually, I had somebody, I'm glad you mentioned that. Somebody emailed the club asking about dropping them off. And I told them that we have those drop-off locations at Dr. Long's office. Is that right?
There is at each of we've got 2 eye doctors in town, and they
Right.
each have a collection box.
Okay. And I've seen the one in, yeah, Dr. Long is in the foyer. Dr. Long's are in the foyer. Is that right? Or the lobby area?
I never can remember which office is which, but they're.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Whoever the optician is in either place will know. And there's also one at the community center. There's one at the library.
Oh.
There's one at Kroger. And another place I can't remember right now.
Well, and Jan, once we kind of get through all of this, I want to revisit that eyeglass drop-off box that we had talked about.
Yeah, and I haven't done a thing about it.
That's
since
that's
been
fine.
Isolated at home.
No, I understand. I think that would be something that would be really good for the club as we come out of all of this and give us some good visibility out there that people know what to do with it. So no, I think it's a great idea. So hopefully we can get all through this and revisit that again. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jan, thank you. Mike, is there anything that you want to do, or are you content doing what you're doing?
Well, I appreciate the offer, but I'm president of the Rotary Club starting July 1, so I'd get confused if I was an officer in both of them. So
that's not a problem. Not a problem. Well, let me kind of tell y'all where we are, and this is not official because we need to still flesh this out a little bit. I'm pulling up my screen here. I had planned on kind of stepping away, and then Tina, I made the mistake and messaged Tina.
Yes.
Said, well, Chad, I think you do great as president. And I was like, well, okay.
50%.
Yeah, well, and when I say step away, I didn't mean I was going anywhere. I just wanted, I've done it for 2 years. I think I followed you, Jan. At least I remember.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah. And I've enjoyed doing it, but we're kind of at a point where we've got a lot of newer members coming in. So I wanted to get some of the newer folks to be able to learn the processes. And really, I think secretary is one of the better spots to start learning because you kind of see the inner workings of the club. So kind of where we are, pull up my notes here. So if I was serving as president, VP is still out there and available. I've talked to some folks about that. David Berry, thank you, sir, for volunteering to be secretary. And I see he's already taking good notes over there. Then let's see. Tina said that she would like to continue serving as treasurer, which I think is awesome because she knows what to do and how to do it.
Good.
For marketing and social media, Julia is still on here. She's muted, but she said she would continue on in that role. And program chair, of course, this was, that's where Paul has served so well for the last couple of years. And he said he's still willing to do that. And Paul, hopefully we'll have something for you to do coming up if we ever get back to regular meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
And so there's 4 spots left, membership chair, service chair, and then 2 of the local titles that we call Lion Tamer and Tail Twister. And I'm just going to be honest with y'all, since I have been in Lions for a couple of years, I don't know if we've really done a whole lot with those 2 roles. Ryan Smith served as Tail Twister. And when I was talking to him a couple of days ago, he said he didn't know what he was supposed to do. And I said, that's okay. I don't know what you're supposed to do either. So Caleb, do you have any insight on those?
Yes. So first of all, Ryan was the tail twister, right?
Yeah.
The tail twister is supposed to be the one that kind of makes the meeting fun. Some clubs have someone come out and they're kind of silly, or in the past we've had people get fined or ask questions, and then if you can't answer the Lion trivia, you got fined a quarter, or if you weren't wearing a pin, you got fined a quarter. And it was supposed to just be someone at the beginning of the meeting that kind of comes out and we've done raffles where we took donations and you bought your little $1 raffle tickets, and it's supposed to be the person that just kind of helps build the community of lions in the club. The lion tamer position has been Dale, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
And that's actually a pretty important position. What that person is in charge of is the logistics of getting the, setting things up, getting the gear where it needs to be. So that's why you'll see Dale has been usually responsible for getting the ID cards to the location and things like that. So they're like the official custodian of club gear.
Okay.
And there's a more thorough description. I had bought, now that you mention it, I had bought Ryan a book on tail twisting that I don't think I ever received, but I'm pretty sure I paid for it. So.
Oh,
Yeah, he did mention there was a book that he was supposed to get at one point, so that would make sense.
I think I'd even ordered it twice.
Okay. Yeah, no, I knew that Dale was our lion tamer, but I didn't know that was logistics. I just thought Dale did logistics because he was so awesome at doing logistics. I didn't know that was an actual thing.
And
okay.
they're local titles in my LCI website, but they're pretty well recognized standard positions.
Okay.
If that makes sense. They're
okay.
Covered. If you're looking for someone to take on the tail twister, are you?
Yeah, it's open.
I think I could volunteer for that simply because I've seen it done before. And since we've gone a couple years without having that active, it might be helpful.
That'd be great, Caleb. Yeah, because it's
I'm gonna regret that, but
adds something. Well, it adds something else to the meeting. So, yeah. Who used to do that a couple of years ago?
Dick.
Dick. Okay. And then I thought there was somebody else that did it as well.
I've seen Fred have it before. Doug Ladner had it for a bit, but he was.
That's who I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will write you in and pin. Thank you, Mayor Norris. All right. So that's kind of where we are. So I've still got a couple of spots to fill, but I think we're going to be okay on getting those filled up. I've talked to a number of our newer members and kind of explained what the role is. So I think we're going to be okay on that. But so my plan is this will need to come back to the club to be approved. So once we get it all nailed down, what we can do is bring it back. Go ahead, Caleb.
I think I don't have the bylaws in front of me. I think the bylaws require that the board recommend it, approve it, and then send it to the club.
Okay.
Dan may actually know.
I don't. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll see if I can find that, and that may just be a meeting that occurs 5 minutes before.
Sure. Well, we can
within the other. Meeting.
Yeah, we can do a board meeting if we need to do that. A board Zoom, that wouldn't be a big deal to set up. So, okay. Now, thanks for mentioning that. But I knew we had to come back to the club at some point. That's the part that I'd seen. So.
Yeah, and yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that's all that I had. Anybody else have anything?
Did we ever have a discussion, because July, is going to start another fiscal year for us. I haven't been, asking people for dues. There are a few people who've paid their dues. How are we moving forward? I didn't really know how we were going to. Should I be asking for dues? I was going to, if you guys want, since we're starting a new fiscal year, should I reach out to people? How do you guys want to handle that? Because we didn't really collect anything.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Gerald, do you have any insight on that?
Well, I mean, I'd be for paying it, but some people may not feel that way, but just keep the coffers where they need to be. I think they'll send it out.
Yeah, I think most would, and I'm hoping that we start back with meetings at some point in July anyway. So I would say, yeah, I would say do because the quarterly is $30, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I think most would be accepting of that for sure.
What do we know what the balance of the admin account is?
Yes. Chad, do you still have those minutes? Was it $1 or something? I don't remember.
It was, let's see. So this was as of May the 20th, charitable was $55.87, admin was $359.
We need some dues.
Yeah.
We need to do a big chunk of that was for our semi-annual dues to LCI.
Yeah.
That took pretty much was like $900 something. So.
Oh, okay.
And then I also paid our insurance. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Insurance. So I've been paying our bills, but we haven't been replenishing.
Sure. Well, we certainly need to do that. And, this is a side discussion, but I know that there's a lot of members that we pay for that I've not seen come to a meeting in a couple of years. I think according to our club's bylaws, if they're paying dues, that's totally fine. But I'm not sure if those people are actually paying dues. So Tina, at some point, you and I need to get together, because I know, don't we pay a per member fee? So if we're carrying members that are not paying dues, then it's costing the club money. So we'll have to look at that. Okay. All right.
Hey, Chad.
I think the.
Go ahead, Jan. No, Jan, go ahead.
Well, I think there's something in the bylaws that if dues aren't paid for 6 months, they're not members anymore.
Okay.
Somebody needs to look at that.
Okay.
And for, as a non-officer, I think dues ought to be paid even if we're not meeting.
I agree.
Yeah. I think everybody's fine with that, Jan. I agree. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was going to just agree that I think I need to go ahead and pay the dues, especially if we're paying out something, for that.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing is, maybe if we can't have one inside, we could have an outside meeting, either the pavilion at Lake Willistine one evening, or the engine bays at the fire station are pretty big. We could do a circle in an engine bay or something like that with chairs and sit around and have a meeting, just if you want to try to get everybody together.
Okay. Does somebody know the fire chief that can make that happen?
I heard he's a pretty tough guy to deal with, so.
Yeah. Then maybe after the meeting, I bet we could also play with the siren some too, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I like that idea. Okay.
And isn't there some outside seating at the pizza place?
Oh.
They do have they do have a patio. I'm pretty sure they're using that actively, since you have to sit so far apart. But no, they certainly do have a patio. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will follow the governor and see what he says maybe today, and try to get back in the routine of meeting in person in the near future then. So anybody else have anything?
Yes, I looked at the bylaws. It does not appear as though it has to go to the board, the nominees. So that looks like just something we were doing, but not required, which is good.
Can you send me a digital copy of the bylaws? I don't think I have that. If you've got it saved as a PDF.
Yes, I'll send you what I have right here. I think there's a more updated one, but this will give you a starting point.
And David, for your reference, I may have told you in a separate email, I've got everything saved electronically, so I can just give you access to a digital folder, and you'll have everything from the last couple of years. So, all right. Well, that's all I've got, y'all. Anything else before we end it?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us. So
I have a quick question then before you go. So when the goal is to have the club as a whole vote on the nominees when?
well, our technically our next meeting date would be Monday, June the 22nd. So, but I think we need to do it sooner than later.
Because I think we've already missed the deadline to input them into my LCI and have everything ready to go. I
Yeah.
think that's supposed to be done at the beginning of May.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do that and then get them all put into my LCI, and you may know more about that. And then let's not forget about the blasted bank accounts, which are a problem every year because we have to pass that resolution.
The resolution. Yeah. I was looking at that yesterday. I've got that resolution saved and it's easy to update. So yeah, we can do that. But I know we're not following our typical meeting dates and times, but really, I think once we get all the officers' positions nailed down, do y'all think just doing an email to the group and have people vote via email is the best way forward? I mean, I don't know what the quickest way to get this resolved would be. I mean, we could do another Zoom meeting. I can host those anytime, but I don't know what would be the best way to do that.
Probably email.
I think an email vote would be fine.
Okay. Okay.
So then the nominating committee will nominate the group, and then an email goes out asking the board to vote on that. And then you'll just count how many responses and take all the yays versus the nays.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you say it has to go to the board
it's not
for
It doesn't have to go to the board, but the nominating committee would be the ones nominating
right.
them to the club.
Right. And so that committee is David, John Holloway, myself, and I'm leaving off one. Oh, Paul Elliott.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So then you guys just get together and make sure that whatever list you give us has all the nominees.
Right. Right.
Cool.
Will that work?
But then send that to all the members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I told Wanda had emailed me yesterday asking about officers, and I told her that we should hopefully have something official here in the next week. So I've been talking with her separately about that, Caleb.
Sweet.
All right.
Wanda's awesome.
Okay, good. All right, well, Zoom is telling me I have less than 1 minute before it hangs up on us. So,
Have fun. Bye.
thank y'all. See ya.
Be well, everybody.
Bye, Tina.
Bye.
All right, see y'all later.